According to two civilian defense contractor employees working at commercial corporate facilities at Fort Collins Loveland Municipal Airport, in the months before the September 11 attacks, U.S. Air Force defense contractors brought in A-3 Sky Warrior aircraft, under cover of darkness, to be completely retrofitted and modified at the small civilian airport in Colorado. The two witnesses say separate military contractor teams working independently at different times retrofitted Douglas A-3 Sky Warriors with updated missiles, missile control systems, Raytheon's Global Hawk unmanned aerial vehicle UAV remote control systems, engines, transponders, and radar navigation systems, supposedly for use as a simple missile testing platform for defense contractor Hughes Raytheon. The employees asked not to be identified for personal safety and fear of job retaliation. But both said the Air Force brought in separate teams for top-secret military work unrelated to commercial aviation at the airport, and we were told not to discuss what they had seen with anyone, under strict orders not to discuss what the military teams were doing or what they saw. The witnesses were fearful due to several recent suicides, car wrecks, mysterious deaths directly related to the aviation experts working on the systems that were installed on the A-3s having breached the government-blocked information flow at great personal risk. Small plane evidence was moved at the Pentagon. The approximate 16-foot entry hole at the outside facade of the Pentagon on 9/11 is more likely to be caused by an air-to-ground missile fired from a small military jet rather than an impact from a much larger Boeing 757. Some reasons cited to support a missile hole include evidence that the wings and rear stabilizer caused virtually no damage to the outside walls and windows at point of impact. No significant 757 interior or exterior parts were found at the scene. The soft nose of a 757 would have had difficulty piercing through 3 Pentagon wall rings, and 3 aircraft parts found were similar to the somewhat outdated but still serviceable Douglas A-3 Sky Warrior military attack jet rather than the much larger Boeing 757. Interestingly, the Hughes division manufactures the AGMs, and the Raytheon division maintains the last few A-3 Sky Warriors while also manufacturing the Global Hawk UAV remote control systems. Air traffic controllers from the Washington, D.C. sector originally said the incoming plane was a military jet according to reports. But no grand jury has called them to testify, and they have been strangely gagged from speaking out. One air traffic controller from another Northeast sector revealed to a 9/11 widow that FBI threats were made of both a personal and career nature. You are ordered never to speak about what you saw on your screen during the attacks. And if you do, things will not go well for you and your family. Curiously, a large piece of wreckage was found in the entry hole, but the public was kept from closely observing what appears to be a sheared-off piece of wing from a much smaller jet than a Boeing 757. A group of military personnel and federal officials in suits tightly covered the piece of wreckage with a blue tarp and carried it away to a waiting truck. No reporters or independent aircraft experts have been permitted to examine any of the recovered aircraft parts. Other government officials who looked more like FBI agents than rescue workers were also photographed moving evidence around immediately after the crash. Were bringing evidence to or removing it from a mass murder crime scene. As if they had prior knowledge, within minutes after the Pentagon crash, FBI agents quickly confiscated a videotape from a gas station security camera aimed directly at the exact point of impact while recording the size of the plane and/or missile. Security camera video filmed from a nearby Sheraton hotel and film from a Virginia Transportation Department freeway overpass camera that would have clearly shown a Boeing 757 if that is what actually hit the Pentagon as claimed by the government. Again, all were told not to discuss the matter. 1 month after the attacks on October 12, 2001, Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld told Parade magazine, "Here we're talking about plastic knives, and using an American Airlines flight filled with our citizens, and the missile to damage this building, and similar inaudible that damaged the World Trade Center." The Air Force has 4 to 6 A-3s in current operation, and Hughes Raytheon has about 12 to 14 operational Sky Warriors according to available records. The plane used at the Pentagon on 9/11 may have been brought in from Tucson, Arizona from Davis Monthan Air Force Base, which has numerous decommissioned planes taken out of service and stored there in an arid environment. Using an out-of-service plane would diffuse the paper trail identifying the actual jet. The diffuser case recovered after the Pentagon impact is a component from the types of dual-chamber turbojets represented by the Allison J-33, J-71, Pratt & Whitney J-57 and JT-8D. It is not part of a Boeing 757 engine. The diffuser case designed for 757 jet engines is quite different from the one found at the Pentagon. The key difference between the diffuser case found at the Pentagon and a Boeing 757 diffuser case is the triangular bezels around the openings. The Pentagon diffuser case has no such opening or reinforcing points, no triangular bezels. The diffuser is built into a much larger component, not a separate component in the newer 757 type jet engines, and not a single one of these was found at the Pentagon. This is not a component that would have melted or evaporated in any manner at all, said a chief executive of a corporation specializing in military remote control warfare systems. Another component found at the Pentagon was a wheel hub assembly, a type made by B.F. Goodrich's aerospace division. They also made the wheels for the 757, but a simple proportional check of width versus diameter will easily show that the photo is not a wheel hub from a 757, which has a much larger radius than width. This is the type of wheel used for aircraft carrier-based and general rear wheels of smaller military planes, not commercial airlines. Coincidentally, 5 key Raytheon executives died on 9/11. Stanley Hall, Director of Electronic Warfare Program Management American 77, Peter Gay, VP of Electronic Systems on Special Assignment at the El Segundo, California Division Office where the Global Hawk UAV remote control system is made, American 11, Kenneth Waldy, Senior Quality Control Engineer for Electronic Systems American 11, David Cavalson, Senior Mechanical Engineer for Electronic Systems American 11, and Herbert Homer, Corporate Executive working with the Department of Defense United 175. Curiously, the 5 Raytheon executives chose 3 of the 4 doomed jets and all happened to fly on September 11. None of their family members been interviewed, co-workers, or Defense Department officials. Raytheon's top people tied to the Global Hawk remote control UAV aircraft systems all died on 9/11 without a grand jury probing their memos, electronic messages, phone records, meeting calendars, visits or calls to Fort Collins Loveland Airport and testimony linked to related matters. There are more than 150 retired and active U.S. military and federal intelligence officers who are willing to come forward and testify regarding government involvement in the September 11 attacks, but only if there is a serious criminal grand jury. 9/11 was the supposed justification for invading Afghanistan and Iraq, formation of the Department of Homeland Security, the controversial Patriot Act, and many more years of the supposed war on terror. But not one person has been held accountable or prosecuted. The United States cannot permit mass murder to go unpunished with zero accountability, especially when the evidence is staring the country in the face.